Welcome to Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee. With me are my co-hosts, Kevin Eaton,
Good morning, Baltimore.
Angelo Superstar Barbara Richardson,
Good morning. Good morning.
Dr. Lisa.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Alrighty
Did we
then.
all have a good weekend?
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
Good.
It came and went.
I know, now it's Monday again.
Mhm.
Seemed like we were just here yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we talked about the Preachers of LA, the reality show,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it
Mhm.
actually came on last Wednesday. And
Yeah.
Angelo, I guess you enjoyed it.
Indeed, I did.
Yeah, the beginning of it was kind of slow to
It
me. I was
was
like,
slow.
oh, it's kind of slow.
Yeah.
I thought two of the pastors were going to fight at the end, though.
I was weak.
I was like, oh, no, they can't start off the first show like that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Also, we like to remind you that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See
How
what I
about
have
that?
on here.
Yes, you have on your little ribbon there.
Mhm,
Where'd you get
pink
that?
ribbon. I got that from one of the churches.
Okay.
The youth were giving. No, I actually got it at school. Yeah, I got it at school. I got it at Maryville.
Okay.
Okay, the kids were giving these out, the little ribbons and everything, to different people, and I got one.
I think that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just to remind you,
Mhm.
ladies out there, please conduct your breast self-examinations, have those mammograms done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And gentlemen, please remember your ladies in your life. Please urge them to get checked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Today, we're talking about marital relations.
Mhm.
So many couples, married couples who've been married for a while, are not having intimate relations, and we're wondering why.
Mhm.
What caused me to bring up this topic was my daughter and I sat and we watched Hope Springs, which is a movie that came out summer of last year, I believe, and it starred Tommy Lee Jones and Meryl Streep. And this particular couple, they had been married for 32 years. And the wife had gotten to the point where she was just very unhappy and very uncomfortable in the marriage. Apparently, the husband had some sort of back injury, so he moved out of the marital bedroom down the hall into another bedroom. And even when he recovered from it, he continued to sleep in a separate bedroom.
Okay.
So, out of desperation, they both enrolled in some intense therapy in another state. He was reluctant throughout the whole thing, but she had gotten to the point where she was just desperate and she just needed help, with the marriage, because it was really causing a great deal of stress on her. So my question is, how do you feel about that? I mean, because it seems like there's a growing population of marital people in marriages that are not having sex. If you'd like to contribute to the conversation, the telephone number is 410-481-1010 or 1-877-704-1010.
Well, Cuzzo, I don't know about you, but as far as my interpretation of marriage is that intimacy sort of like goes along with the contract. That's kind
Contract.
of whatever. When you get
Marriage is a
married,
contract.
you kind of that's kind of in the clauses. You know what I mean? That's like
And the
okay.
clause of marriage and the marital
I
contract.
mean, just how way I look at it.
Okay,
When you
I'm
decide you're
loving
going
this
to marry this
already.
person, right? When you figure you're going to marry this person, you're going to figure that intimacy, that love making, that caressing, that hugging, kissing, all that stuff
Yes.
that goes along, with the excitement
Yes.
that makes you just go ba-dow.
Wow.
Goes along with the marriage. And when you don't have that from that person that's with you, then you've lost the spark of actual marriage and commitment,
Okay, so you feel that that's a major part of the relationship,
I do.
the marital relationship,
I
and
do.
sex? Because I
Mhm.
think communication
Mm-hmm.
is number one. Because
Well,
if
that
you
goes
don't
with
have
it.
that
If you don't have communicate, yeah.
how can you have that intimacy?
Yeah. But you got to have the communication to do anything, really.
Yes.
But when you have a marriage, you think of, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now that time is different now, but I think of a marriage like man and woman, okay? Yes. And there are certain things that women do to men or for men that, to me, a man can't do for himself and a man can't do for himself. That's why you get married to the woman, and that comes with the marriage, that you get to experience this ecstasy.
Right.
Ecstasy. So you think that's why people aren't having sex, because there's no ecstasy, there's no passion?
Yes.
Angela, you try to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, are intimacy and sex two different things, and can you have one without the other?
Well,
or does one lead to the other?
I think that ecstasy, they all intertwined together.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think. Personally, I mean, I'm no expert, right? But I think
no expert.
I think that when you talk about marriage, I mean, come on, boo. I mean, that goes along with it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't expect to marry you, and I don't expect you to marry me, and we haven't reached first base. That to me, that's first base.
Yes.
Right.
We're going to spend the rest of our lives together to
Yes.
death do us part. You know, I got this thing in me that I just got the, I got the animalistic, whatever you want to call it, I got it. Okay?
You know, I
And
think
it's like,
both do. But I think sometimes things, and because during my research, I discovered that this problem occurs in marriages that are 15 years and older. You know, so I think that it's happening to people who've been married for a while. So maybe they had that spark in the beginning, but maybe something happened along the way where one or the other lost interest. You know, and it's sad to me, because it seems to me when you first notice that there's something missing or something's going on, that's where communication kicks in. Because as long as I'm feeling a certain way and I'm backing away from you, and you're feeling a certain way, like maybe reacting to my backing away from you, then we're growing further and further apart.
Right.
Yes.
And then I'm afraid that it gets to the point to you that you're at the point of no return, where he's doing what he needs to do to fill his time and his life, and you're doing what you need to do. Then how can you ever come together?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Dr. Lisa.
Yes, I was going to say, you talked about couples who've been married longer than
Yes.
15 plus,
Yes.
and the growing apart.
Yes.
And some people don't know they've grown apart
Mhm.
because the communication is broken down. Everybody's kind of got their interests in different avenues, taking care of careers, children, and all of these things start coming in between, and before you know it, the sex part, which is the very physical part
Yes.
of a relationship, is now affected.
Mhm.
And so you can't go back by just saying, let's get together physically,
Yes.
because then there's so much other things. The intimacy part about us needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And people don't take the time to do that.
You know, that is so true, because
You can
based
dress
on-
me up, you can put some lingerie on me,
Mhm.
but there's something missing.
Yeah, and if that something is missing, it isn't going to go any further than that.
Right.
You know, and based on some of the research I saw, like what you were saying, we spend time raising our families. You know, we're preoccupied. The kids have soccer practice, you know, and a lot of times we're developing our careers. So we have all these distractions going on. And then after being married 15 years or so, you know, the kids are going on to college, you know, they're older and everything. So it's just the two of you. So at that point, maybe that is when you notice, hey, wait a minute. What's excellent? Because, you know, it's so funny because we do get preoccupied with things. And how about inviting her down into your man cave once in a while? How about
You
that?
can blame the man cave ladies.
Yes, you know, and sometimes it's something as simple as a kiss good night, a kiss good morning, holding hands, and doing what our First Lady, President Obama, date night. You'd be surprised at what difference a date night makes.
Right.
You know, getting back to piggybacking what Dr. Lisa had brought up earlier, you know, we on the Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee show, sometimes we put ourselves in a situation.
Ooh,
right?
are you about to
You
put
know,
yourself in
yeah,
a situation?
You know, when you like
yeah.
I was in a bad relationship, right? You know, with the just a bad relationship period. You with
Yes.
somebody you know you ain't got no business with, right?
Yes, yes. Trying to figure out how to get out.
And you know, 13 they say it's an unlucky number, things of that nature. So after being with this person for 12 years, I was like, there's no way in the world I can be 13.
Yes.
Right? But I never thought about what if we did have a kid and the kid was 13 years old, starting you know, maybe middle school or something like that. Would I have left the way I did? And I don't know, because I didn't have that option in my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was fortunate at the time where I was, you know, ready to leave after about 12 years. Like I said, I wasn't doing 13.
Yes.
12 wasn't working out.
Definitely wasn't going to
No way.
hang in there for
So I
long.
wasn't going to see 25 or 30. So
Yes.
kids would make a difference. I think that would be a piece of glue that would keep them together,
I think so,
even
too.
though they may not want to be in that situation. So that is something that, you know, never crossed my mind.
But that's true. If you'd like to contribute to the conversation, the number again is 410-481-1010 or 1-877-704.
I totally agree with that myself. I think if you have to have premarital counseling, you don't need to get married.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think you need to get married. I think if you feel like you have to sit in front of somebody else, a third party, and work out things, how your marriage is going to work, you already starting off on the wrong foot. That ain't the right person for you to be marrying. Maybe y'all can, have fun, whatever, live your life together. But as far as getting married, I think that you gonna know the right person is gonna be the right one for you. You wouldn't need a third party to tell you. You would know. It would hit you like bam if you're really thinking. If you're really thinking, I think you would know. If you're not just open to anybody to come in, like you said, okay, I'm just gonna marry the first one to come, into my life.
Right.
Then you're cheating yourself. Then,
Mm-hmm.
if you give yourself time and let people come into your life and you be yourself, be true to yourself, you wouldn't need a third party to say, okay, I think y'all should get married, or okay, I don't think y'all should get married. I think
But that's not the goal in premarital counseling.
Yes.
Okay.
The third person doesn't tell them yes or no. He just presents information.
And give them tools.
Give them tools and let people make their decisions based off of what they have learned.
Yes.
Right.
Because a lot of times we bring baggage into relationships that we don't realize that we're bringing in there.
Okay.
So I think oftentimes it's good for you to even learn more about yourself, too. And coping skills and relationship type skills. It's just that, they just give you the tools to use in order to start off stronger. Jimmy,
Okay.
were you about to
Some
say
of the
something?
expectations too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I expect you to do this, and you can iron all those details out prior
Yes.
to.
Roles,
Yeah.
expectations,
Mhm.
priorities. What are our priorities as a couple? What is going to be our priorities as a family, if that's what we plan to have? Working career. I mean, it really does help you figure that out.
Yeah.
And people do better when they are informed and educated. You have a greater success.
Yeah, because some of the major things that cause marriages to break up, what? Sex, finances, they disagree on how to raise the children.
Yes.
You're ironing all of that out prior to marriage.
Yeah, well, my point is, if you need a counselor, then that's where your communication breakdown comes in. If you have the man and the woman, and you communicate with each other, you will already know who's going to handle the money and who's going to be on first and who's going to be on second. You will work that out between the both of you. If y'all haven't reached that point in your relationship where y'all can do that, then you obviously you're not ready to be married yet. That's what I'm saying. If you have to go to the third party, then that you done already broke down the communication right there. That's why you got to go, because you don't communicate enough where I know where you're going to be, you don't know where I'm going to be, because we can't communicate with each other for some odd reason.
You think that's breaking down the communication? I think that's
I think by that time
helping
the
you to communicate
communication,
better.
I think it's already broke down, boo. Because if you want me to go to counseling, you can go by yourself.
Now, see, that is no way to think.
You can go by yourself.
That is no way to think. I think we all need therapy here and there
that's
for
how I
various
feel.
and sundry reasons.
I believe in love. I believe in
in love too, but I want to keep that love going and growing.
And educated love doesn't make a one fool.
Right.
Sorry.
So some of the research, during my research, I discovered that, what kind of an example, like kind of hit on what you were talking about, Jimmy, are we setting for our children? They're sitting around and they're watching. Mom and daddy don't kiss. Mommy and daddy don't hug. They don't show any kind of affection. So they're growing up seeing this, okay? And so then they go on and they fall in love and they want to get married. They're going into that marriage with what they grew up and what they saw without even dealing with those issues and even not even realizing that they are issues. Again, to me, that's where the premarital therapy comes in at.
Yeah.
What solutions do you have for people? We only have like a couple seconds left, but my thing is, I guess my suggestion is, when you notice that you're growing apart, do something about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you get to the point where you're sleeping in separate bedrooms, where you have a pillow between the two of you, where there's absolutely no intimacy whatsoever, and you're miserable cohabitating because, it's cheaper to keep it, as they say.
And life is too short.
It's way too
Life
short.
is too short.
Dr. Lisa?
Communication is one of those keys that's going to change the tide.
Absolutely. Angelo?
Happiness is 2 kinds of ice cream.
Oh, 2 kinds of ice cream.
Yep.
Okay, Jimmy. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next Monday at 11 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Team Shop Talk.
Because you can't have just one ice cream. You got to have
We talking about ice cream.
It was an analogy.
Ice cream got to do with
It was
that.
an analogy. It was an analogy for love.
You're going to give me some ice cream.
2 kinds.
I got your relationships confused. I'm like, which woman is he talking about?
I just left that alone.
That's what I found. I just found the video in the little place.
You did? Man, that 30 minutes go by fast.
They go by so fast.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
No, I found it. That's what I did.
All right, let's get on out of here.